Are you taking Mrs. Trump to dinner, or have you had time to get her a present? You've been very busy.
I'll take her for dinner on the Boeing. I'll take her for dinner on Air Force One.
No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough, I wanna hate this. I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna.
We have a long flight today, but we're going for a good reason. You have any questions?
What do you hope Steve Witkoff will get out of his meeting with Putin today?
He'll be calling me. They just left the meeting. I haven't been briefed yet, but he had it. I hear a pretty good meeting.
Mr. President, any update on Secretary Hickson? Your confidence in him?
About what?
With Signal, having Signal on his
I don't view Signal as.
computer. What do you think?
I don't view Signal as important. I think it's fake news, really. I don't view it as
You
important.
said you were going to be meeting with some leaders while you were in Rome attending the Pope's funeral. Who were you
Meeting
attending?
some people in Rome, yes.
Who were you meeting with?
And a little bit quickly, and frankly, it's a little disrespectful to have meetings when you're at the funeral of a pope,
Are you going to be meeting
they say. But I'll be talking to people. I'll be seeing a lot of people, including the Prime Minister of Italy.
Any plans to speak with President Biden?
Very, very good Prime Minister. What?
President Biden, any plans to talk with him? He's going to be there.
Oh, he is? I didn't know that. I mean, it's not high on my list. It's really not.
Sir, can I ask you about this judge in Wisconsin who was arrested because of immigration issues? What's going on with the case there?
That's a terrible thing. The judge was arrested because he was housing a trendy Iroquois, right? Is that the one you're talking about? It's pretty surprising. It's terrible.
Mr. President, you said that you've spoken to President Xi multiple times. Is that since taking office, sir?
I don't want to discuss that, but I'm speaking to a lot of people from China, but I'm speaking to people from all over the world on the tariffs, and we're making very good deals. Very good deals. It's going to make our country rich. We're not going to be ripped off like we have been for the last literally 50 years.
Mr. President, there was a car bomb in Moscow this morning that killed a Russian general. Do you have any reaction to that? Any impact?
What?
Russian General
No, I just heard you just tell me that for the first time. Where did this take place?
It took place in Moscow. It was a Russian general.
That's close to home, right? That's a big one. Yeah, I'll look at it. If I hear anything, I'll let you know.
When you see these leaders in Rome, it's more like mix and mingle at the funeral, right? Or you're having individual one-on-ones?
It's a little tough because we don't have much time. And we're arriving at about 11:30. And we have some people meeting us already. And then I'm taking pictures with the military tonight when we get to the house at 12 o'clock, the embassy. And so we don't have really much time. And then, as you know, tomorrow morning we're sort of leaving early. I think that we're going to try and see a couple of people that are important to what we're doing.
Why did you feel it was important to go to the Pope's funeral?
I just thought it was out of respect. You know, I won the Catholic vote, and I think it's the first time that ever happened where a Republican won the vote, and I won it by a lot. And, I have a great relationship to the Catholics. Very simple. What do you think of it? But I won the Catholic vote. We got 56% of the vote. I don't know why we didn't get more, actually. I don't know how they got any. But we did well with the Catholic vote, and my relationship is very good. So therefore, I think it's appropriate.
Secretary Besant said that Secretary Besant said that you wouldn't drop tariffs on China unilaterally, that you would need to see some kind of movement. What do you want to see from China?
Well, I'm not going to drop them unless they give us something that's, substantial. Otherwise, I'm not going to drop them. But it'll all work out. Those things always work out. We're working on a lot of projects right now. The wall is solved. The border is the most secure it's ever been. We're having a very hard time with judges because they don't want people to be moved out of the country. Shockingly, nobody's ever had this before. No other president. There's never been a time when this has ever become an issue, where they talk about due process. When you have millions of people that you're moving out, that are really bad people, very dangerous people. And you have a judge that wants every single one of them to have a trial. So they want us to have millions of trials, therefore. And how long does the trial take? Weeks? Trial can take weeks. That's not what it's about. That's not what our country's about. And that's not what I got elected on. And these are judges that just want to, show how big and important they are. They're local, federal judges, and they shouldn't be allowed to do it. We have hundreds of thousands of people that we want to get out of the country. And the courts are holding us back. Some judge that nobody ever heard of is holding us back. It's very dangerous for our country. I mean, you want to see a country that'll have crime? Let that happen, because it's really dangerous for our country. And I can't believe the Supreme Court would let that stand.
What kind of movement do you consider substantial from China?
Well, free up China, let us go in and work China, because frankly, that's what we wanted last time. We almost got it, and then they backed out of that deal. But we had it to go into China and sell our product, sell our wares. In other words, it's called to open China. That would be great. That would be a big win. But I'm not even sure I'm going to ask for it, because they don't want it open. They don't want it open.
On the immigration front,
I think they're going to tariffs.
But because of tariffs, I could possibly get that. What do you think? Opening up China would be a big win, right? The problem is, no matter how big the win is, the press will not give me credit for it. If I got the greatest win in history, they'll pay us trillions and trillions of dollars. They'll give us anything we want. The press will say, Trump, he just had a terrible defeat. He suffered a terrible defeat. But the people know. No, I think we're going to have a lot of big wins. I don't know if it's going to be covered that way by the fake news, but the wins are going to be very substantial. We're losing. We were losing with Biden. $5 billion a day. Think of that, $5 billion a day. I've got that number way down, and soon it's going to be very, very positive. We'll be making $5 billion a day, but we have a little ways to go yet. A little ways to go.
Mr. President, can I ask you about the Texas Senate primary? The Texas Senate primary with John Cornyn and Ken Paxton. Are you going to get involved? Have you talked to the candidates?
Well, they're both friends of mine. I like them both. In a way, I wish they weren't running against each other. But I like Paxton. I like Cornyn. They're both good people. So I'll make a decision somewhere along the line. But you have two very good men.
I have a question on your immigration agenda. Yesterday, a judge in San Francisco put a nationwide injunction on you guys taking money away from sanctuary cities. Your reaction to that, then I have a question about the markets.
It's unbelievable when you hear a judge in San Francisco or a judge in San Diego does nationwide injunctions having to do with the whole country, sitting behind a bench, a local bench, even though in some cases, in many cases, they're a federal judge, but a judge can close down. We should close down sanctuary cities. We shouldn't have sanctuary cities. And we'll see how that turns out. But sanctuary cities are sanctuary for criminals. That's what they are. They're sanctuary for criminals. They protect criminals. And we should close them down. If we want a safe country, you have to get rid of sanctuary cities.
Mr. President, on India and Pakistan, there are tensions after the attack in Kashmir.
Yeah.
You got any message for them? Are you going to be talking to their
I'm
leaders?
very close to India, and I'm very close to Pakistan, as you know. And they've had that fight for 1,000 years in Kashmir. Kashmir's been going on for 1,000 years, probably longer than that. And it was a bad one yesterday, though. That was a bad one. Over 30 people.
Are you concerned that there's now tensions on the border between them? Are you concerned about how are you concerned are you about
Well,
that?
there have been tensions on that border for 1,500 years. So, the same as it's been. But they'll get it figured out one way or the other. I'm sure that is. I know both leaders. There's great tension between Pakistan and India, but there always has been.
So you've done the 190-day pause on some of the tariffs. Is it possible you'll have to do another 90-day or another extension?
Probably
of the pause?
unlikely. I think I know pretty much. And again, we'll have deals made, but we'll also make deals. In other words, we'll just set the tariff and we'll be reasonable, very reasonable, and that'll be the end. It's the deal. Because we set the price. They want to come in. Now they set the price for their country, but everybody wants to come into ours. They don't want to come into theirs. Most people don't want to come into theirs.
Do you think the markets are adjusting to your tariff policy?
So when you look at what's happening, I think so. I said there'd be a transition. People haven't understood it. Now they're starting to understand it. Look, think of it this way. We've lost billions of dollars a day for years on trade. Billions. Not going to happen. We're going to make billions of dollars a day. Because that's not sustainable.
Can you commit that nobody on your financial team was giving any type of tips to Wall Street executives about deals with India? There was some reporting yesterday that people had heads up on Wall Street, possibly to make money. Can you commit that did not happen?
I can commit to myself. That's all I can commit. I have thousands of people that work for me, but I can't imagine anybody doing that. I have very honorable people that I can say, so I can't even imagine it. But no, I haven't even heard that actually.
So there have been some concerns about access to food, medicine coming into Gaza. When you spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu the other day, did that come up at all about access and humanitarian aid going into Israel?
No, when Gaza came up, and I said, we gotta be good to Gaza. Those people are suffering. We got to be good to Gaza. We're going to take care of that. There's a very big need for medicine, food and medicine, and we're taking care of it.
In terms of opening up more access points, or
very hard.
Pushing the Israelis?
We are.
To open up more access
very
points?
Hard to get food and medicine into Gaza.
How did the Prime Minister respond to that?
Well, felt well about it. Okay?
You've got these Iran technical talks tomorrow in Oman. What do you think any kind
the
of...
Iran situation's coming out very well. We've had a lot of talks with them, and I think we're going to have a deal. I'd much rather have a deal than the other alternative. That'd be good for humanity.
Will it start with an interim deal of some sort, or how is it going to work?
I think it's going to be pretty much, we're not looking to do lots of long-term. It's a very simple deal. One thing, they just can't have a nuclear weapon. I'm saving them a lot of money just in that. Having a nuclear weapon is really expensive, but it's also very dangerous, and they can't have a nuclear weapon. And just that, I'm saving them billions and billions of dollars, because that's what it would cost. Now, with that being said, the Iran deal is coming along very well. We're dealing at the highest levels of Iran, and I think they want to make a deal, and we want to make a deal. There are some people that want to make a different kind of a deal, a much nastier deal. And I don't want that to happen to Iran, if we can avoid it. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. President.
What's on tap for Melania's birthday?
Oh, she's going to have a great birthday. she's got a working birthday. She's up front. I should send her back. You want to have somebody answer a question? I'll send her back into the lion's pit. Susie, let's send Melania back to the lion's pit.
Are you taking her to dinner, Mr. President?
By the way, they would love that when you put her here. She'll be so innocent.
Can we see your office up there sometime this weekend?
Yeah, you can come up. We'll let them come up a little bit later, okay?
Are you taking Melania to
Maybe
dinner?
going back.
Are you taking Mrs. Trump to dinner, or have you had time to get her a present? You've been very busy.
I'll take her for dinner on the Boeing. I'll take her for dinner on Air Force One.
There you go.
I haven't had much time to buy presents now. We've been pretty busy. But it's working out. Things are working out very well. And people are starting to understand how good tariffs are for us. And, tariffs have been used against us for 50 years. Now, I never understood it as a private person, why we allowed that to happen. It goes back a long time, but I never understood it. Why did we allow that to happen? Where we couldn't go into China, but they could come here. We couldn't go into Europe, but they could come here.
The drilling in the background is underway, so it's stars, stripes, and signal chats. Yeah. Or should we just call it our daily chaos catch-up? So, Gen Y, YouTubers, confused Gen Xers, it's Tony here, your favourite Brit, watching American politics like it, should we call it a reality show? So like Love Island, The Bachelor meets Chernobyl. It's a mess. I've just spent 24 hours deep in the MAGA matrix, and let me tell you, I deserve hazard pay. I think I deserve a drink. And I'll have a therapist as well. Anyway, let's dive into the flaming circus that is the Trump administration today.
And we all served together.
Wow.
And Jared over there.
So you
And
guys,
forgot.
you guys got hit, huh? Pretty good. You got hit.
Pretty good.
Amazing.
We're in a pretty tough area in Kandahar, in the Arghandab River Valley,
Right, it's
outside
tough.
Kandahar.
Their unit had a more than 50% Purple Heart rate, sir,
Wow.
in 2010.
You deserve it. You deserve that and more. We appreciate it so much. Brave, really brave, brilliant people. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions?
Well, spoiler alert, it's worse than the Florida group chat during hurricane season. It's bad. Really bad. First up, Pete Hegseth. That guy's still there, the defense secretary, who thinks Signal is just WhatsApp for people who own nuclear codes.
Chuck Todd, is there ever a more straightforward sign in Trump world that you are on your way out the door than the president suddenly starting to ask the people around him about you?
By the way, for some of us in the press who've had a on-again, off-again relationship with the president, I've been on the receiving end of that myself. What do you think of so-and-so? I'm thinking about getting ready. You're just like, really? You know, it's the strangest thing when he does, because he'll reach out to anybody on this stuff, right? Like, not just, supporters. Because he's wants to know what press thinks, wants to know what, he is one of those. The point is, that's a very bad sign for Hegseth. Because to also translate what J.D. Vance wants to say, the media can't make up a story without sources. What's really the issue for Pete Hegseth is there are a lot of Republicans who never thought he was qualified.
Man's out here sharing military strike plans with his wife, his brother, and his lawyer, and probably anybody else that he's bumped into who's randomly sent him a DM in the same group chat. No clearance, no shame, just pure vibes. You could actually find a group of teenagers playing Fortnite and Minecraft with better operations than they have. Pete, mate, this isn't Fortnite, as I said. You don't squad up before launching a real airstrike. The guy is like, I'm not sure what's going on. How long is he going to survive? Anyway, I survived 24 hours of watching Hegseth trying to explain himself. He's now blaming the leaks on why he did this speech today, Wednesday. Had to go at fat people, cultural Marxism. At this rate, the only person he hasn't blamed is his Fitbit, or whatever he does to keep fit. I'm Pete Hegseth, pass the beers.
Square that, and what do you say to concerns that that's bad management?
They were Pentagon employees who leaked against their boss to news agencies in this room, and it's been clear since day one from this administration that we are not going to tolerate individuals who leak to the mainstream media, particularly when it comes to sensitive information. And the Secretary of Defense is doing a tremendous job.
Troops fighting in the unit that many of you will lead are capable, truly physically capable of doing what is necessary under fire. They need to be fit, not fat.
Anyway, here's where the bookers have him. 5-1 he's fired before the weekend. Not bad odds. 3-1 he ends up on Fox and Friends as a national security influencer. I'd have that at evens. Anyway, even odds, if you fancy a little bet. He leaks a game because he thought a burner phone meant it came with matches. That guy definitely has a burner phone. I'm not sure what it is, Google it. Should we move on? Wish Hegseth would move on. Meanwhile, Elon Musk says he's pulling back from his government duties to focus on Tesla. What are his government duties? Oh yeah, he runs dodgy. Anyway, translation, the stock's crashing and he needs to stop pretending to be secretary of everything. Tweeted Alexian or whatever he does, it's AI. Bruv, Elon, you're not Tony Stark. You are what happens when Reddit builds a CEO in a lab with ADHD and a god complex. Basically, nothing more and a lot less. And now, Trump's latest distraction. Ordering American flags to half staff across the country. You would have thought, well, that's understandable after Pope Francis passed away. But no, flags is very on brand for a man who treats being a patriot like it's Photoshop. He's ordered huge flags, like huge, tremendous flags, that he's going to put outside the White House because when he gets cornered, just start buying flags like it's, oh yeah, I don't know. You've got somebody's Amazon account and they said, buy what you like.
You said you're going up to the launch for a flag. What was going on?
We're putting
What
up
are you
a
doing,
beautiful...
Mr. President?
almost 100-foot tall American flag on this side and another one on the other side, 2 flags, top of the line. And they've needed flagpoles for 200 years. It was something I've often said, you know, they don't have a flagpole per se. So we're putting one right where you saw us, and we're putting another one on the other side on top of the mounds. It's going to be 2 beautiful poles. Paid for by Trump.
Anyway, in case you're confused and thinking what's going on as we head into mid-April, here's your 2025 summary. Except leaking more than truth socials traffic. Elon's hiding behind a spreadsheet. 72%. And Trump's got flags everywhere and conspiracies at full throttle. And as for the rest of us, well, we're just trying to make it through 2026 without losing the plot entirely. Anyway, if you could, hit like if you laughed. Comment if you've ever been in a Signal group chat with the Defence Secretary, because it appears nearly everybody has. And subscribe if you're tired of pretending any of this craziness makes sense.
Deeply concerning. I mean, we heard over the weekend and last week MAGA loyalist Hegseth supporters say the Pentagon is in, quote, total chaos. And while that might feel like an inside baseball process story, this affects troops in harm's way, men and women in uniform. I served 27 months in combat myself. The effect on morale, the effect on safety, the American people, regardless of political party, rightly have demanded accountability on this. And yet we're seeing, with one exception, which I give a lot of credit to Don Bacon, my colleague, total silence and a bizarre defense of now a second leak of clearly classified, sensitive information.
And we all served together.
Wow.
And Jared over there.
And Jared over there.
So you guys got hit, huh? Pretty good. You got hit.
Pretty good.
Amazing.
We're in a pretty tough area in Kandahar, in the Arghandab River Valley, right outside Kandahar.
Their unit had a more than 50% Purple Heart rate, sir.
Wow.
In 2010.
You deserve it. You deserve that and more. We appreciate it so much. Brave, really brave, brilliant people. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions?
I have one more question.
Thank you for that question.
For those of us that live here in the district, you said when you came in you were going to make Washington, D.C. great again.
Right.
One of the issues we've got right now is we understand there might be an imminent deal between the owner of the Washington football team, whatever you want to call them now, Commanders, and locally in getting the Redskins back to D.C. and RFK Stadium. That's on federal property.
Right.
Are you going to be involved in that negotiation?
Yeah.
And would one of the stipulations be they change their name back to the Redskins?
Oh, I see. Well, that's a little bit, nobody's asked me that one. Look, I think when the Indian population is a great part of this country, a great heritage. And we were talking about Massapequa, Long Island, the Chiefs, they call themselves the Chiefs, or the Kansas City Chiefs. They're not changing their name. A great team, great people, great owners, great coach and quarterback. I love the quarterback, like his girlfriend too, and his wife. His wife is great. She's been a big fan. His quarterback's mother is incredible. I like that team. They're called the Chiefs. And frankly, I see nothing wrong with it. They call them the Warriors, and not that team, but a lot of other teams. And all of these Indian surnames and different names. And I'm saying that I think that's a positive thing. And when you go back to Indians, they polled this. They don't know why these names are being taken off. They're trying to, I think it's degrading to the Indian population. And it's a great